I'm Julie Fei Fan Balzer, and let's begin today's show on Nature Lookalikes with faux cyanotypes. What does that mean? So faux is just a fancy word for fake, and cyanotype is just a fancy word for a sunprint. You've probably seen them before. They're usually done on a photosensitive paper, and they're blue. So if you look at our beautiful faux cyanotype here, it looks very similar to that. But you don't need the photosensitive paper. So let me show you how we do it. You start with a piece of paper, and then you're gonna gather some leaves. They could be dried or not, it doesn't matter, but what you're looking for is good veins, meaning you want there to be some raised areas of interest on your leaves. Then you're gonna take a watermark ink pad, and including the stem, you're just gonna pat all over that leaf to make sure that you get it covered with ink. Now it's not gonna look like much is happening because a watermark ink pad is clear. So then you flip it over and place it onto your paper and press it down. And you should be able to see just the faintest impression of your leaf on there. Don't worry, don't panic if you can't see it right away. It is there, I promise. And you can do multiple leaves or just one or the same leaf over and over, totally up to you, and you can put them all over your paper. Once you're done, you're gonna take some clear embossing powder. The embossing powder will only stick where the watermark ink is. And you can see, I just keep mine in a little plastic container because it makes it a little bit neater when you're done. So wherever we manage to actually get some ink, that is where this is. And you can go back over this a couple times to make sure that you have gotten all of the ink. So once that's done, you're gonna go ahead now with a heat gun. And you want to start to melt the embossing powder. So embossing powder is essentially little pieces of plastic. And when you start to heat it, what starts to happen is those little bits of plastic start to melt and they become permanent on here. So I would continue to melt this. You can see it starting there, and it goes really fast once it gets going. Once you've melted the whole thing, then you're gonna have something like this, and the powder doesn't come off. It's totally permanent. I'm gonna spray it with water just to flood it. Then I'm gonna use some spray ink, and I have two colors of blue because I want that cyanotype look where it's slightly dark and slightly light. So I'm gonna continue to spray. Oh, my sprayer doesn't want to work, but it doesn't matter because I've got a paintbrush. So now you'll see when I brush wherever the embossing powder is, the ink or the paint just comes right away from it, and you're getting that beautiful blue look. Isn't that pretty? So I would just go ahead and let this dry, and I would have a beautiful nature look-alike.